Hello everybody, my name is BlueBlade19 and welcome back to another video. But it's gonna be a little bit different. And since it's a new year and I got my new fit, I felt like a change in scenery should be appropriate. Ah yes, that looks good. And what a coincidence that you see all these screens because today I'm gonna talk about my theory on Wandavision. I stated in my update video that I want to do a theory video on Wandavision, or rather I just want to talk about my theory on the show. I kind of had a theory before the show came out, but now that I've watched it and there's been some details that kind of, sparked the interest of comparing to my theory or completing it somehow, it's kind of adding to what could be or what can be the case with this one. I just want to give my theory out here, hoping that nobody has the same idea as me, or, I just want to say my opinion on it. What do I think about WandaVision? Honestly, it's kind of cool, and I have nothing to say much about it other than it's a Marvel Studios thing, and I just gotta watch it. But I will say one point taken that the actors look like they're having a splendid time with, acting this show out. And honestly, when I saw the run times for the episodes on Disney Plus, I low-key thought that's how long it was, but it was just the extra credits or something. It's still 22-minute episodes, which, this is a funny thing. This is Marvel Studios' first show, I guess. Like, I could call it a TV show, I guess. It's Disney Plus original. But it's the first show I get ever since they did like Iron Man back in the day. I'm kind of glad they've grown up to this point, which is kind of debated because they made like great movies and stuff, but it's a cool show and I like how they're doing this, and with more on the way. And I want to say WandaVision is more interesting, I guess, because it's what's going on with it. Like, from what you can already tell, we got WandaVision all buddied up, looking married, like nothing happened in Infinity War and Endgame. Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea, nor a theory part on why I think Vision is alive. I think, maybe, but the show is hopefully gonna answer and kind of talk about what's going on with this one. Again, I'm gonna tell my theory on what I thought before seeing the show and what I got from seeing the trailers. Well, kind of. A bit, somewhat from the trailers. And then I'll talk about each episode on what sort of things happens that could add to my theory. But with that being said though, here is my theory video on WandaVision. Now I'm gonna see if I can basically sum up my previous theory on WandaVision. Like I said before, I had a theory before watching the show because of certain clips or scenes in the trailers. Like this one for instance, which may seem kind of off, but hear me out. I thought that from this scene here, it kind of gave me the first blinking thought that Wanda was creating something, like this was an alternate reality. Okay, not an alternate reality, just some state of mind that she wanted to be in. Which, okay, I'm getting that off my butt. Because she was using her powers to, I guess, make the furniture look normal, it gave me this impression. It gave me this impression that she wanted things to be perfect for her. And because, Vision's here, and those other people, well, like I said, the whole premise is about Wanda and Vision being together, which is kind of weird since his previous events. And there's other people in the neighborhood, and they're like a married couple and stuff. And Wanda doesn't want anything to seem out of the ordinary, or better yet, she doesn't want to leave this state of being. That's kind of what I thought this was, her mental state, because she lost Vision. And I thought she was so heartbroken, and she kind of created this mind. Like, you could say she's asleep or in a coma, but it's kind of like that, I guess. But she's not waking up. She doesn't even want to wake up. She refuses to wake up. I just remember what this also reminds me of. It's like that one Bubble episode of Gravity Falls where Mabel had this whole Mabeland thing next to Bill Cipher, and because she didn't want to grow up and she wanted to be a kid forever, this was the result of that. And someone had to wake her up or pop the bubble or get her out of that heck hole. And I thought that by the end of, season 1 of this, she might come to the conclusion that she would have to let Vision go and that he's dead. Thankfully, though, after seeing the first 2 episodes, this kind of theory was wrong and instead kind of led to something different. Don't get me wrong, this whole show is not really real, I guess, and Wanda definitely seems to be out of it. So what gives me the sort of clues to think this is the case besides my first theory? Well, I would, but we were going to be going to some spoiler territory in this one. So if you haven't seen Wandavision first, I recommend stop watching the video right now so you can see the first 2 as I'm recording this. And while we go on this video, I will just be explaining the minor points in the episodes. Basically the spoiler minor points, if you will. That basically gave me clues or hints that, this wasn't really what I thought of before. So, let's go with the clues by episode 1. So in the first episode of WandaVision, we see WandaVision trying to celebrate something that had a heart on it. The day in question did. While Vision assumed it was the Heart's visit for dinner, Wanda thought it was their anniversary. But they still celebrate the boss's dinner anyway and, have dinner with his wife and all. And the wife and the boss asked some very interesting questions like, when did they move here? Why did they get married? Or, why don't they have kids yet? Which, now that I think about it, seems like all of this was foreshadowing. And then, when Wanda's trying to answer them, she kind of tries to, analyze the situation. She has that face where it's all like, wait, how did we get here anyway? Did we even get married or anything? Even Vision has the look of, wait, how am I still here? Wait, I just realized. How am I alive? I have no idea. And then by the end of the episode, we see some person's hands next to the table where the WandaVision show is being, shown, as if that show actually exists. And, looking at this, I automatically thought, hey, that's sus. And also, Wanda's trapped in some television world? That sounds dumb. But, that's kind of sus, though. And by the look of the hands, it looks like a woman's hand, so the lady is obviously a suspect. You can interchange those two. So in the beginning of the next episode, Wanda goes outside and notices a multicolored, or should I just say a red and yellow helicopter, which I honestly thought was a reference to Iron Man, like, hey Wanda, remember Endgame where Iron Man died? Anyway, but she's looking at this with a very suspicious look on her face, like, is this really supposed to happen? Keep in mind, the whole world is black and white, yet we just see this red and yellow helicopter out of nowhere, which kind of comes up later where she starts meeting up with Dottie that Agnes brought her to. And while she was talking with Dottie, she then hears the radio that starts going on, calling out for her, like, Wanda, like a radio signature or someone trying to call out for her. Again, Wanda is very distraught of this feeling because she has no idea who it's meant to be or what's going on in this world whatsoever. She's confused on where the heck she is anyway. And then, I guess to snap her out of it, Dottie breaks the glass in her hand and starts bleeding red blood, which I think would have been black in that world. And she even meets her Geraldine, who is also sus about her existence in this world, just as much as WandaVision. And then, later on, they also notice this beekeeper that comes out of the sewer, which I thought it was creepy, but I don't even know anything about it, so... Not saying it has no significance, I just have no idea about it or what makes it so, threatening per se. But then Wanda says no, and it sort of rewinds back to the house where she finds out that she's pregnant. Also, yeah, she's pregnant. So yeah, if any of y'all remember that Vision is a robot, then you'll see why this is low-key weird. In the next episode, we see the Doctor and Vision consoling with Wanda about the baby that is soon to be coming in months, but it's gonna come sooner as Wanda's powers go haywire around the house. Later on, when Geraldine helps with giving birth to the twins, Wanda looks at them and reminds us of her brother Quicksilver, who passed away in a certain Avengers sequel, which Gwendolyn, I don't know why I keep calling her that, mentions Ultron, and Wanda's all like, how did you know that? And meanwhile, Vision's outside talking with Agnes and Herb about, like, is Gwendolyn in their house? I hate saying this. Of course, Vision says yes to this, and Agnes is all talking to her about, like, oh, that can't happen. Like, she's nervous about that. This kind of sends her into the sus territory, like, she's the imposter. And Herb was about to finish some sort of sentence like, Geraldine can't be in there because we're not, and Agnes just shuts him up like he's not supposed to know anything. And then she just runs off flying anyway, or like this crazy person that she is. Then when Vision goes back in to check on Wanda, he asks where Geraldine is, and Wanda, I guess with a sus smile, is all like, she had to leave out of this alternate reality that they were in, because somehow Geraldine ends up in some sort of SHIELD military base, and honestly, that's one of the darkest things that Wanda did, if it was her in the first place, though. So, after compiling all of these clues together, what can I guess, confirm, or what can I theorize of all this context? Well, here's my theory in a nutshell, I guess. Wanda is, yes, comatized, but she has some sort of projector on her head, like a neurotransmitter of some sort, but it's projecting this whole alternate reality inside her brain. Like, you know that one scene in Rick and Morty with the Sentinel of Ricks, where they have the one true Rick looking at that one memory where he was with Beth and his wife? It's kind of like that, but with Wanda thinking about how, you know, she's with Vision, it's the happiest memory of her life, and it's basically the case with the show. Because, you know, at the start of the show, they were married and it was all happy and stuff. Like, nothing happened between them. Nothing at all. And how do I say this? Well, at the end of episode 1, there's clearly somebody who is low-key watching her, keeping track of her, I guess, by the TV, which I'm honestly thinking the whole controlling device for this world. And with Wanda being, I guess, strapped down with this whole alternate reality in her mind, it's safe to say that when she goes into these sort of, what are those trances where she's starting to like comprehend what's going on, but with this being an alternate reality, you feel like there wouldn't be any sort of mess ups or anything that would give away to this world being fake, right? Well, in episode 2, there was the helicopter and the whole world changed from black and white to, again, color. Colors. Switch the colors. Switch the colors. Switch the colors. Switch the. This seems like a mess up in whoever the person is holding up Wanda is trying to cover up. I said before that because the helicopter was in color before and then it went to color at the end of the episode, it just felt like a sort of fixer-upper or whatnot. Like covering your mistakes, mystery woman. And in episode 3, it basically got a bunch of things off the table. Like, we already know Agnes is sus, and Herb was gonna announce this whole alternate reality being non-existent, I'm pretty sure. But Agnes, of course, didn't want to give that away to Vision. And Gwendolyn, why do I keep calling her that? Geraldine, being just as suspicious of this whole world as Wanda, like, she has no idea why she's here, suddenly knows a lot about like Wanda's past. Like she knows that Ultron killed Quicksilver, Wanda's brother, and this actually disturbs Wanda very much so because she doesn't tell this to anybody, and I know she tells this to Vision. But even by the end of the last episode, Wanda seems some sort of grin like, oh, she had to step down. Like, I know Agnes is sus, but Wanda felt okay with kicking her out, you know, of the alternate reality she was in. So, what does this mean? I know I'm explaining much, but I guess I can sum it up like this. My previous theory before watching this show was that Wanda made this whole mental reality herself because she misses Vision. I feel like it's going full circle because that seems to be the case. I stated before that Wanda has control of her powers. That's the case in this world because, you know, they're trying to hide it and stuff. But it's not to say that she could have, I guess, created this world. Maybe I'm still assuming that. But I'm guessing there's just some parts of her that, you know, doesn't want to break this reality. While she still has Vision, she doesn't want to lose him. And with the whole chances of comprehending what's actually supposed to happen, I'm kind of getting the feeling that, you know, she didn't want things to go out of whack. Like, yeah, sure, Agnes or whoever is holding up Wanda doesn't want anything to seem sus. But Wanda always gives a little too disturbed look, like this shouldn't be happening. And again, I kind of don't want my first theory to be real about this whole being Wanda's doing because it seems scary. But after the episode 3 ending, it's kind of dark. And I did mention how it would be sad if, by the end of this, she would have to let go of Vision. Just kind of, well, yeah, that's definitely sad. But if I'm saying that Wanda is, well, control of this whole world, and she doesn't want to get out of it, or doesn't want anything to break reality, and I guess you could say that Agnes is trying to, what's the word, help out and not trying to spoil it for Vision, which I guess she's in the clear. That would be some sort of tease, but that would imply that Wanda is the main woman herself who's responsible for all of this. You know, like the woman in question outside the screen. But that would just bring the question if Wanda is trapped or not. But it would be funny if she was just watching a show of Vision and her existed. But it can't be though. Again, how Geraldine got out of the alternate reality is still questionable because I have no idea where that world is or where it could possibly be. But if I know for certain, Wanda may be some sort of bridge between them. And I know that kind of sounds dumb, but I wanted to stray far away from my first day about this whole being Wanda's mental state and whatnot. Like, if you think that's not far off, thanks, but I don't want it to seem that way because it would just be sad and, at this case, dark. So, with that being said, this is going to be an end to my first theory video on the channel. I know it was based off Marvel, but don't worry, we'll get back to the anime stuff later. I think. But thanks for watching this video, guys, and I do recommend going to watch Wandavision on Disney+. It is a very interesting show, to say the least. I was gonna say like suspenseful and whatnot. Be sure to hit the button and the like button on your way out the door. And why did I mess that up? Subscribe to Drill Newfound Weave Nation for anime content and anything else. Hit the bell and the like button on your way out the door. And Blueberry 19 is out. Peace.